In 1943 and 1944, tens of thousands of German soldiers boarded American ships as prisoners of war. They expected revenge. They expected hunger. They expected brutality. Instead, many of them were handed ice cream and Coca-Cola. For men who had marched across Europe under strict rationing, the idea that their enemy would serve desserts in prison camps sounded insane. Some thought it was a trick. Others believed it was propaganda. But it was real, and it shocked them to the core. This is the story of why German POWs were treated this way in America, and how it quietly changed how many of them viewed the war and the enemy. German soldiers entered the war with a clear belief. Capture meant suffering. Nazi propaganda had spent years describing Allied prison camps as places of starvation, beatings, and humiliation. Stories from the Eastern Front only reinforced this fear. Many Wehrmacht soldiers were told, "If you are captured, you will be worked to death or worse." So when German troops surrendered in North Africa, France, and Italy, fear followed them onto Allied trucks and ships. None of them imagined that America would follow the rules. Between 1942 and 1945, the United States transported over 425,000 German POWs to camps across the country. Texas, Arizona, Nebraska, New York. For many prisoners, this was their first time outside Europe. They expected prison camps. Instead, they saw farmland wooden barracks and comm guards. Some even noticed something unthinkable: American soldiers smiling. The reason for this treatment was simple and shocking. The United States strictly followed the Geneva Convention. Prisoners were guaranteed adequate food, medical care, shelter, protection from abuse. They were fed the same rations as American soldiers. In many cases, that meant better food than civilians back home in Germany. Then came the moment many POWs would remember for the rest of their lives. Ice cream. Cold, sweet, served in metal cups. Some prisoners thought it was a joke. Others refused to eat it at first, convinced it was poisoned. One former POW later said, "We were sure this was psychological warfare. No enemy would treat us this way." But it kept coming. If ice cream was unbelievable, Coca-Cola was incomprehensible. To German soldiers, Coca-Cola was a luxury product, rare, exotic, and associated with American abundance. Bottles were handed out cold. No ration cards. No speeches. Just soda. For men raised on scarcity, it felt like stepping into another world. German POWs were required to work, but the work was regulated. Farming, construction, road maintenance. They were paid small wages, real money usable at camp stores. Many prisoners realized something disturbing. They were treated better than forced laborers in German camps. This comparison was impossible to ignore. American camps allowed books, newspapers, musical instruments. Some camps even organized orchestras and theater performances. For the first time, many POWs encountered uncensored information. Nazi ideology began to crack, not through force, but contrast. The U.S. didn't rely on lectures. Instead, they allowed prisoners to observe democracy in action, racial integration imperfect, but visible, freedom of speech. For many POWs, this silent lesson was more powerful than any speech. As news of concentration camps and war crimes emerged, some German POWs felt deep shame. They had been taught America was barbaric. Instead, America followed rules, even during total war. One POW wrote, "They defeated us without hating us." After the war, German POWs were returned home. They brought stories no one believed at first. Ice cream, Coca-Cola, respect. Over time, these men became some of the strongest supporters of post-war reconciliation. The story of ice cream and Coca-Cola in POW camps isn't about kindness alone. It's about power. The power to win without cruelty. To defeat an enemy without becoming one. To change minds without force. In the end, America didn't just imprison German soldiers. It quietly undermined the ideology they fought for, one scoop at a time.